What's up, Guardians? Today we're going to get into my new latest build on my Warlock. Having a ton of fun with the Chaos Reach subclass. I did a video on this, on my, working on this build a little bit prior to Season of the Worthy. But with Season of the Worthy, we've added a couple more things. And I think this build is fairly completed. There's not too much more I can do. It's kind of frustrating with the exotics working the way they are, that they don't have a seasonal mod. Because if this exotic had a seasonal mod, there'd be a ton more I could do and would be interested in doing. But this right now is my Chaos Reach build. I think it's pretty solid. I think that you could definitely think about using it come Grandmasters Nightfalls. However, I do know that Well of Radiance is obviously a much safer subclass, and it also provides you a ton of utility. So this subclass is probably going to get a majority of the use come Grandmaster Nightfalls and stuff. But I would definitely look to try this out in higher difficulty Nightfalls and things like that. There is one problem with the build in higher difficulty Nightfalls, and we'll get to that in a second. But let's get right into the build right now. So if you don't remember, previously, or if you never watched the video, previously I did a video on the combination of a perk called Firepower from last season with Demolitionist weapons. And we were using a pulse rifle last season. This season we're going to be using my Jack Queen King, rocking Demolitionist, as well as Rampage, which makes it a really solid overall pick. Hopefully you guys did farm for something like this role. If not, then any Demolitionist weapon in your energy slot specifically will work. Just to go over the weapons really fast, the other weapon we're using is Edgewise, obviously Demolitionist and Field Prep. The Demolitionist perk is really important to this build because we're going to be chucking grenades like absolute crazy. And then for our primary weapon, I think people are going to lean towards Izanagi's Burden. However, if you want to play more aggressive and you weren't doing something so difficult, maybe you're doing one of the bunker activities, you could go with a perfect paradox with Trench Barrel. Really good shotgun overall. So let's get into the armor really quick. I want to keep this build video relatively shorter because I know those like 15-minute plus videos are really long and probably not as interesting to watch by the end. So you kind of have an idea of our weapons. We're mainly looking at Demolitionist and then a DPS weapon of some kind. Trench Barrel Shotgun, Izanagi's Burden, something like that. So going over to the armor, this is where it gets really important. The exotic we're rocking is Verity's Brow, another one of the Warlock exotics that recently got buffed compared to last season. The other one being Sanguine's Alchemy, which we covered really quickly, and we're going to have a full video on Sanguine's Alchemy here in the near future. So the exotic perk for Verity's Brow is the 4th magic. Energy kills grant death throws, which provides a bonus to the damage of your grenades and grants you grenade energy. So when you get a kill, you get 10 seconds of this perk called Death Throws, and this perk can stack on kills, so it gets a multiplier, and with each multiplier you're gaining 10% more damage on your grenades, and then with each kill you're getting grenade energy. The multiplier doesn't affect the recharge rate of your grenade. The multiplier only affects the damage of your grenade, whereas the timer, as long as the timer's active, you're going to get that bonus grenade energy. When you have Death Throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade regen for a short time. Obviously this is pretty strong. Buffing your teammates in any PvE activity is really good, and buffing their grenade damage, or buffing their grenade regens, extremely good. So if you combine this, maybe 2 of you ran this build, it'd be kind of nuts. So that's it for our helmet. Our helmet, obviously we don't have a seasonal mod, so we're just running Discipline, and we're running some ammo finders. Pretty basic, pretty standard. We're running a shotgun ammo finder for this guy. It's an arc helmet, so we are running machine gun ammo finder. Because it's an arc helmet, we want an arc helmet, so we're running machine gun finder so we can get that extra ammo for our machine gun and our shotgun. If you were running a sniper here, maybe you'd have to pick at that point. Do you want a Void Verity's Brow, or do you want an Arc Verity's Brow for Edgewise? Moving into the gloves, we are rocking Fastball, Discipline mod, as well as Firepower, which was a seasonal mod from last season. It says while charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade. Last season we were running 3 of these mods and we were getting about 50% of our grenade back with each toss, roughly like 45 to 50%. This season we're going to be running 2 charged with 2 firepower mods, and that's going to give us about 30% of our grenade back when we throw it while we're charged with light. Once again, this is pretty much maxed out. There's nothing really we can add here. You could basically run, you have to run solar gloves. Remember that. You have to run solar gloves just because that's the way firepower works. Next, we're going into our chestplate. You could really run any energy chestplate you want to. We're running Tyrant Surge, which is the new seasonal mod from this season, which basically says dealing damage with arc melee, super, or grenade abilities spawns a Warmind cell. This is where we're going to get our Warmind cell spawns. We're going to throw our storm grenade. We're going to hit a bunch of enemies with our storm grenade, and we're probably going to kill them because Death Rose is so effective, but anything we don't kill, we get a Warmind cell. And in the future, there's going to be a mod in the game where you can pick up the Warmind cells and throw them to get them towards more adds. So I think what's going to eventually happen is this build's going to morph away from the firepower stuff from last season and move towards something like Tyrant Surge and Warmind cell focused builds. But we'll get into Warmind cell focused builds in the near future. I just have to finish leveling my bunker. Other than Tyrant Cell, we're running Surge Detonators, which is another seasonal mod. Arc grenades cause disruption, delaying ability regen, and lowering combatant damage output. This is really good against overload champions. Our hand cannon gives us the ability to deal with unstoppable champions, and now our grenades give us the ability to deal with disruption champions. So the only thing you can't deal with in this current build is a barrier shielded enemy. So maybe your teammates could help you with the barrier shields, or you could, in theory, drop whatever this weapon is and put on something specifically to deal with barrier champions, and now you alone would be able to deal with all 3 champions. Our boots are pretty standard. We're running Taking Charge along with a recovery mod just to give us a little bit of extra recovery, as well as give us lower cooldown on our Rift. And then finally, in our Bond, we're running Enhanced Ashes to Assets, so we get bonus super energy on grenade kills. We're running Innervation to reduce grenade cooldown on orb pickup. And then we're running our second firepower mod. This is going to give us about 30% grenade regen when we throw a grenade while charged with light. And then, yeah, so we're running Taken Charge over here. If you don't know what that is, that's picking up an orb of light, grants you charged with light. So that's really important to combine with something like a fully masterworked weapon, because once you get multi-kills with like your Jack, Queen, King, pick up that orb, you're getting reduced grenade cooldown, and you're essentially proccing firepower at that point, because we have no other way to get rid of our charged with light mod, or charged with light perk. So that's it for the video. That's it for the build, essentially. It's pretty standard, pretty easy to complete as long as you played last season. Stat-wise, our focus is going to be recovery and discipline, obviously. We're going to let Enhanced Ashes to Assets as well as our weapon kills take care of our intellect and getting our super. For strength, something like Ionic Traces and just the fact that we don't use Ball Lightning very much because we're constantly spamming grenades. We don't really need a high melee stat. We do want as high a discipline stat as possible, and we do want as high a recovery stat as possible. For our subclass, we're running Middle Tree Stormcaller. This is mainly for Ionic Traces, which gives us ability regeneration. So we're basically always going to have our grenade up, and every time we get a few kills with Jack, Queen, King, we're proccing Death Rose and we're getting our grenade back basically at the same time, so that way we can chuck it again and kill as many adds as possible with our grenade. This build's super fun for a lot of grenade damage. We're running the Chaos Reach Super. Chaos Reach, the reason for this mainly is just because this super recently got a buff, so when you proc it, it's less disorienting on your screen, and there's less flashes all over the place, so it's very easy to actually control your Chaos Reach. I think in PvP this actually has a possibility to be viable. The only problem is Ball Lightning is really weak compared to something like Top Tree Dawnblade. For grenades, I chose Storm Grenade. You could probably go Pulse Grenade. Arc Bolt Grenade really doesn't have a ton of damage in PvE. For some reason, it just doesn't do a ton of damage, so I would stay away from Arc Bolt and pick Pulse Grenade or Storm Grenade. And then Burst Glide, and I chose a Healing Rift. You can choose an Empowering Rift if you want to. Kind of depends on the activity you're doing. If you're doing something fairly easy where you know you can stay alive, Empowering is going to give you bonus damage. Whereas if you're doing something that's rather difficult and you need that kind of extra healing to help you out, you can run the Healing Rift. That's basically it for the entire video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys do indeed try something like this out. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that you're going to be able to get a ton of grenade kills. You're going to constantly have your grenade energy up. And overall, I really enjoyed playing around with it. I did a legendary Lost Sector with it. The only problem I had was with the barrier champions. And then I just played around in like the, I don't know, open world activity down here, and it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. The Warmind cells are really cool, and I can't wait to get into the Warmind cell builds in the near future. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in another video. Have an awesome day.